Could you explain more about cording and how to break cords that we have created over the decades? The picture that comes to mind, this is Bob. The picture that comes to mind is a big ball of string with me stuck in the middle. All right, let's go get some paper. This be two people. This is two people. And let's say this one says, think of a cording thing. I can't think of something like, oh, you need to do this. This one is going to tell this one what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and everything else. Like, you need to go to the store and buy this, this, and this, and cook it this way. I'm just making stuff up. I can't think of anything else. So this one doesn't want to, or I'll do one easier. You need to go to school to be a lawyer. This one, no way, wants to go to school to be a lawyer. This one wants to go and be a ballerina. But this one's telling this one, if you're going to go back to school, you're going to be a lawyer. This one says nothing. And this one decides and doesn't do anything. So a cord comes out and goes into, let's make their fields. These are their fields. And a cord comes out and hooks them. Because this one didn't say, no way. This one didn't say anything. This one was a doormat and accepted it. So let's just say that's a marriage. And then this one keeps going, well, I want you to do this. And you're going to do this. And you're going to do this. And this one never stands up for themselves. Ever. That's what cords look like. Then one day, if I change colors, we'll make it orange. Then one day, this one can't take it anymore. I'll make a lot of cords here. Looks like this. Okay, and this one finally snaps. Can't take it anymore, feels suffocated, right? What usually happens? Doesn't come out nicely. Usually the F word is dropped and all kinds of anger comes out. So this one starts yelling at this one, and this one just sits. And this one says, I'm not going to take this anymore. This one's yelling at this one. Well, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go to school for what I want. Oh, you think so? I don't think so. And if I'm going to pay for it, you're going to do this. You're not paying for it. I work my ass off for this. And you're going to do this. Blah, 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 blah. And back and forth. And what you end up are lots of cords both ways. Now, this could be at work. This could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be between husband and wife. It could be anywhere. Boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. It could be anything. Now, this is in your field. Oh, D, beyond millions in your field. Because now, think about this. I don't know how many hands I have, but we'll try this one. I'll just use the orange one to make it easy. Now this one's pissed off and starts yelling or tries to do something to this one. Same thing. And this one. And how many people in your life, every time you cross dominion, this is what you're doing. Somebody didn't ask you, but you volunteered your opinion. It's pretty, I don't want that, right? Who wants that? Now this little dude here is trying to ascend. So that begins to look like this. This one's trying to raise up. How can this one get up there where it's like a balloon? What do you call those things? Those big balloons, they tie down. You know what I'm talking about. The hot air balloons, yes. It's like a hot air balloon and it's tethered and it's tied down. It can't get anywhere. Because every one of these cords, think of it like this, is an anchor. So now maybe you came in with 10, 15 issues. I don't know, you brought some stuff in to clear. This one is you going to school. This one is you're a piece of poop. This one is you don't listen to me. This one is whatever it is, right? They're all there. So then you sit down with a new ager or a doctor, a shrink, right? Because you can't function anymore. You have so many cords, there's a dis-ease in your system because this is not what your system's supposed to look like, right? So your whole auric field, your whole field of existence, your energy field is being pulled, stretched, sucked, dried, everything. How many of you have people in your life that you can feel them sucking the life out of you? Or may have had it in a past, not a past life, but earlier, you might have gotten rid of them. But those, you absolutely know them. And they're like, that's because you have cords to them. You have cords to them. If anything bothers you, you have cords to it. It's kind of like you're cleaning out your house. Oh, but I can't get rid of this. Oh, it reminds me of grandma. It reminds me of this. Oh, I'm keeping this. I'm keeping that. You have cords to those things. We all have it at some level or another. Some of us are worse at it. Some of it's like with me clearing my mom's house. I don't want to get rid of it. Oh, it's mommy's stuff. It's a cord. And that cord is a fear. And that fear, let's just do the one about getting rid of things. Well, it reminds me of my mom. What's the fear behind that? It reminds you of your mom, your dad. You don't want to get rid of. There's energy, emotion. That's what they mean. There's an emotional attachment. And what are you afraid of? Why is there an attachment? Because you're afraid you're not going to see him again. Because you're afraid you're going to forget them. Because you're afraid, whatever. You're afraid you're going to be all alone. Your mom and dad are gone and you're going to be all by yourself or whatever. There's an emotional attachment. And that causes this. And all these are programs that all these people accepted. Every one of us, there's not an individual on this earth that doesn't have this. The reason being is we're still here. If we didn't have cords, up and away in my beautiful balloon. The problem becomes, everybody says, oh, just cut the cords, take the scissors, cut the cords. That's all well and good, but you've already accepted this cord. So let's make this cord. We'll just do one cord. I'm worthless. Somebody, when you were growing up, as a mom and dad, you're no good, you can't do this, or you went to school, or somebody said something that you made a decision that came out as I'm worthless. Now that cord is to this individual here. All right, let's just say it's from there. Well, I'm going to cut the cord to that. Okay, so you cut the cord. That cord is gone. Where's the program? I'm worthless. Still in here. Cutting a cord doesn't get rid of the program. This is why, now let's take this one step further. This is why it's so important and why the dark side is teaching our kids to hook up. because DNA is the same thing. So working on yourself, I don't like that word, but we'll say focusing on getting rid of all this is fine. But do you really believe in this lifetime you're going to get rid of all this? If you got to do it one by one by one. Ain't going to happen. It'll take you 50,000 lifetimes to get it, and every lifetime you come back, add more. So it's an endless loop. Not a fun place to do. So how do we get rid of all this? Okay, some of you are saying, Yeshua did it for you. Absolutely. However, for those of you who said that, do you still have any issues? Then he didn't get all of them, did he? Yeshua can only do what you ask. Now, there's a couple things going on with that. So I'm going to say 80% of you here today are the ones that want to be masters. So if you want to be a master, you're going to have to do it yourself. Doesn't mean when the ascension time comes that you won't go. It means this is a perfect time to practice. Now, that being said, give gratitude to all the freaking momos in your life that aggravate the living crap out of you. Oh, this goes back to the other one. If you thought I was yelling at you, because I was not yelling, I was having fun with this. And that happens with a lot of meditations. When it's a forceful energy, everybody thinks, oh my God, I'm getting yelled at. No, not at all. Not one bit. So you have to look at why. But here's the thing. Be grateful if somebody is pushing your buttons. You got to find out why. And it may take, usually when you ask Yeshua to clear it all and you do all that and everything, you get rid of a lot of the crap. But the big stuff, the core, the stuff that's stuck in there, and I have to say, usually it's family. Right? Because family's been around since day one. It's like really deep stuck in there. It's like, and you got to pull it out. But you can always ask for assistance. But the Christ light hasn't been, now we are not masters yet. We have been masters. We forgot how. We haven't mastered the Christ light or we wouldn't be here. We're remembering how to master it because we are masters of it. So within the Christ light is the violet flame. That's one of the rays of the Christ light. So you transmute all cause, core, effect, record, memory, and this is in Leana's library. You don't have to write it down. The whole thing is in there. You transmute, all cause, core, effect, record, memories, ties and attachments system-wide. If you sit there and go, I want to know what's bothering me, you're never going to make your ascension. Negate, ab initio. You're never going to make your mastery. You'll ascend if you're one with Yeshua. So you're never going to make your mastery in this embodiment. It's too much to figure out what every one of these are. So if you have an upsetness for feeling worthless, let's use the one feeling yelled at. If any of that is in there, you don't care what the cause is, do you? You don't want to know the cause. If you have to take the cause, you could go back forever. And you don't want to know the cause. It just takes too long. So that's why you call on the violet flame to transmute into divine perfection all cause, whatever the cause is, cause, core, the core of it, the effect of whatever's making you feel that way. So I transmute all cause, core, effect, record, memory, system-wide through all dimensions, time and space, everything and anything pertaining to feeling yelled at, pertaining to feeling worthless, pertaining to feeling fat, pertaining to feeling skinny, pertaining to feeling ugly, pertaining to feeling whatever it is. Whatever it is. You just cut all the cords, whatever it is. But, okay, so let's say we did that. And we got rid of, you cut the cord to I'm worthless. And let's say this individual is 50 years old, young. Okay? This individual is 50 years young. For 50, we'll make it 48 years. For 48 years, because something happened at 2, this individual believes that they're worthless. They let everybody walk all over them. Right? They give up their rights as mankind to people because they're worthless. Everybody's better than them. So now the cord is cut and this goes away. Is the statement of being worthless, the feeling of being worthless, the deeds of being worthless, the action of being worthless, would you say that that's a habit now? It becomes a habit. Okay, somebody give me what's one action of being worthless? Come on. What is one act that somebody might do for the hating yourself? Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. It's easier to do. No motivation. You put it off till tomorrow because what's the point, right? So, you remember the old special, why do today what you can put off till tomorrow? Oh, even better. Yep, you get it. Good ones. So, I'm sorry. How many people, that's a good one. I'm sorry. Everything they said, I'm sorry. So now you cut all the cords. Every time somebody says something, what do automatically? I'm sorry. For 48 years, they've been saying, I'm sorry. So the minute you go back into the habit and say, I'm sorry, that very moment is the minute you write it back into you. You may have broke this cord, but right here, inside the field is, I'm sorry. I'm worthless. So you wrote the program back in. So Yeshua can come along and delete all this. But he can't do, if you take it back, that's what I call taking it back. If you throw it back in your backpack, you got to ask him again. So, my favorite word, so, that is why you blast the Christ light. So now, I'm going to make the Christ light green because I'm out of colors. So now this one has all these ties and starts blasting from their heart a little Christ light. All the ooh, this smells good. All the programs are starting to burn away. I hope this isn't coming through onto my good sweatshirt. And after a while, it looks like this. Green is Christ light, right? Ha! You're a big old ball of Christ light. So now, fear. from somebody else comes. It can't exist. It just disappears. This can't enter. This cannot exist there. Because the minute it tries, let's just say this is how far your Christ light's coming out. The minute it tries to go in, it's just goes into nothingness. So, how do you know? All right, so now let me take this out. There's a lot of good questions. I'll get to them in a minute. Don't type anything unless it's a question because there's too much going by too quickly. So now what happens is I'm going to use me because it's the only one I can talk about with permission. How do I know that I have an unfair program or unjust program? Bernard, please, nobody type anything unless it's a question, please, because there's too many questions and I got to go back and get to them all. So how would I know? Here I am having a great life. I'm staying in my own little world. Nobody's bothering me. I'm becoming the master of my world. Right? I'm going to be an ascended master. That's my intention. That's what I'm doing. How would I have any knowledge that I have an unjust program? Ooh, way down here, stuck in there. It's unfair. It's unjust. How would I find that out? It's got to go, right? Because that's one of the tethers, right? I can't raise up with that written in there, correct? We all agree with that? That's fear. I'm worthless. So how do I know that? Bette, you got it. I am present. I'm saying I want to be a master. That's my intention. I'm going to be a master of the Christ light. Here's my Christ light. Remember, Christ light is green in this picture because that's the only color I had left. So my Christ light goes out and says, ew, look over there. Evil one. Bring the evil one close. Evil one says, and steals from me. It's not fair. Comes up. Somebody stole something from me. It's not fair. They got all my money. They stole my whatever. They stole my car. That's not fair. And that's not enough. Then, the brown guy, we'll make him brown. The law enforcement comes, the policy enforcers who are on the side of this thing, of the evil, and says, well, we're not going to help you. I'm going to take you to court. Now I'm going to win. No, you lose more. Maybe you threw $20,000 into the court case and you lost it and you got in worse shape. That's not fair. That's so unjust. Before you get that far, anytime you're upset, somebody's yelling at me, somebody's cheating me, somebody's lying to me, somebody's out of integrity, somebody broke their word, somebody's bullying me. Anytime you get upset, stop. And comprehend that you are an amazing light of the Christ light. Nothing can touch you. Why are these things touching you? Why are these statements and programs bothering you? Because nothing can touch the Christ light unless the Christ light accepts it. And you are the third dimensional aspect of the Christ light. So you believe people are yelling at you. You believe they're calling you worthless. You believe you're being bullied. You believe you got stolen. All this comes up. They're being unjust. And the minute you stop and say, I don't give a shit. Not that you don't give a shit. The Christ light. So somebody stole $20,000 from you. Whoopie-doo, you don't think the Christ light can bring $40,000 to you? You see the difference? So what you do is you stop. You bring this to this point. And this goes, oh, and it's gone. And it cannot come back unless you once again say, I'm worthless. And you know where this happens the most? In people we were taught to respect. Your doctors, number one. Right? Lawyers, number two. Not saying we still respect them. Trust me, you have been brainwashed to think they know it all. Your government, your churches, we all know it's family. And then what happens? What happens? So many people don't love themselves that they go out looking for love. Looking for love in all the wrong places. And then I find this a lot. I've been counseling for over 30 years. People think they can change someone. Oh, he doesn't mean it. Oh, she doesn't mean it. I can change them. What a joke. You can only change yourself. And the thought that I can change them, the thought of that creates a cord. That's why I said, if you comprehend dominion, you comprehend it all. Everything is about dominion. It's the very first part of the Bible. You were given dominion over the earth, the sea, the land, everything on it, over it. You and me, mankind, stand in divine righteousness. We have dominion over the gold. Not the government, not the Federal Reserve, not the momos out there. We do. How many people think that, though? Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. And until enough people come to the knowing of this, until there's enough light, this will still remain out there. The darkness will still be there. But it won't be in your dominion. You must clear your dominion. That's what they're talking about when they say, get your house in order. This is your house, your dominion. They're not talking about the physical structure. That's why I say, when the patriots say, and everybody, oh, we got to fight, we're at war. How can the Christ light be at war with darkness? Darkness comes by and it doesn't even exist anymore. Anything that says we're at war is holding this. It's like an elephant being at war with an ant. See what I'm saying? And it becomes very difficult for this to exist. The more this happens, the more light comes. Now remember, I had to use green because it's the only colors I have. Okay? So does that make sense to everybody so far? All right, let me go back. I'm going back, so hold on, because there was a bunch of questions. I got to go all the way back to them. Here they are. Nazi, how many years after 48 years old? What is the next number? I don't know what that means. I was just using 48 as an example. It could have been 5 years. I'm just using that as an example. How in the world do we stop that when it is so ingrained? Okay, that's what we got into that. After for 32 days, help break the cycle too. Jasmine. That wasn't a question. So here we're going to pick on Jasmine. I get to pick on Jazzy Jazz. I love Jazzy Jazz. Hey, I pick on myself all the time, right? Jazzy Jazz wrote, I think she means after 32 days, you break the cycle, if you can get through it for 32 days. Did anybody ask her for that? No, she crossed dominion. And Is it 32 days for everybody? Absolutely not. So why would you put that in anybody's head? Because somebody could break the cycle in one day. How many people said, I'm going to quit smoking, and their willpower and their Christ consciousness got it done in one day? So you see why you shouldn't cross dominion? Because Jasmine wrote that, and I'm not saying anybody did, but let's say 10 people out of the, 300-400 people we have here, 10 people said, oh, it takes 32 days. You just quartered yourself to those 10 people. They didn't ask you. You butted in, and they said, ooh, why? And then they said, oh my God, it takes 32 days. I got to do it for 32 days. Now it becomes their belief system. Do you see why you shut your mouth? We all do it because we've been taught to do it. Oh, let's be helpful. Are you crazy? Next question. Is this where 3 times there will be an opportunity of testing? Yes, Deborah. That's exactly what it is. So what she's talking about is, let's say I got rid of the program. I'm worthless. No, unjust. It's an easy one because worthless is a deep one. Okay. It's not fair. It's just not fair. I'm sick and tired of people taking advantage of me, stealing my money. It's not fair. Now I do my thing. I cut all cords of connections. It goes away. Now someone else comes into my life and says something. Someone else comes into my life and says something. The third test comes. Oh my God, it's not fair. I got to start over again. I accepted it. That's what Deborah was talking about. So our goal is to remain unfazed in the face of all perceived attacks. That's why Jesus said in the Bible, turn the other cheek. If somebody wants your coat, give them your coat. What does that prove? You have no power over me. Not making you a doormat by any means. So many people get that passage so wrong. If this one comes to steal from you, you want it? Go take it. You know why? Because I can create anything I want whenever I want, and that's all 3D. You're way down there, and I'm way up here. Knock your socks off. Get out of my face. You're gone. Be gone. Okay, so does that make sense? Now, this is the same tone of voice I use for everything. Why does it sometimes sound like I'm yelling at somebody and sometimes going, wow, look how beautiful that is? Anybody? It's a deep program. It's the words I choose. Now, here's another thing. You bring people into your life when you start this remembrance if you choose to be a master. Actually, David writes, what if someone puts a gun in your face? Go ahead, pull the trigger. David, if you truly believed you were this with every ounce of your being, would it bother you? But that's a good question. Somebody's got a gun in my face. How many of you could stand there and not be in fear? Not me. I'd be in fear. Somebody put a gun to your head. Wouldn't you be in fear, most of us? Because what have we learned? Gun causes death. But if we're Christ-like, is there any death? No. It's okay. That's why we are under grace by Yeshua, Emmanuel, Jesus. We are under grace. We have accepted Yeshua as our Savior. This is my point. You need a Savior to save your butt from this darkness, because it's a difficult situation. We've been in this rule. The Luciferian matrix has ruled since the first bite of the apple. Oh, well, And we have been living under this since the first bite of the apple. And then Yeshua came along, green. We're going to make Jesus green, okay? Yeshua comes along, and says, don't you get it, momos? Don't you get it? Let me show you how it's done. This has no power or authority of me. None whatsoever. Darkness can't touch me. It can only touch me if I submit to it. Submit your vote, right? It can only touch me if I submit to it. Because I have the power and the authority to choose what I wish to experience in my third dimensional realm. In my body elemental, if I choose to experience a war with darkness, that's what I'm going to create. If I choose to experience bliss and happiness, that's what I'm going to create. Just be this. Now, sounds easy, right? There's so many years. Let's say everybody's 50 years old on this place right now. All of us on PPF are 50 years old. Let's say we're all 50 years old. We've had almost 48, 49, 50 years of believing when you come out of the chute, they take this away from you. They start teaching you this. What do you start at 5? You go to a school that's run by this. By darkness. And they start teaching you to be afraid. They start teaching you pain. They start teaching you all this stuff that falls in line with the Luciferian energy. Now, for those of you who came to movie night, remember movie night? Left behind. If you're standing in this, in the Christ light, this is what kind of happens. Ooh, Fanucci. Hang on a second. Remember this? Bob made this for us. So, let's say, and I'm going to use the redhead. Let's say this is our third dimensional field. This one's darkness. This one's light. This one's looking for light. They're both in the darkness. They're both under the Luciferian matrix. This one starts to get Christ light. Raising up, 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 raising up. Gets to about here, but they're still on the same plane. This is ascension, gone completely. Didn't make it yet, right? But you're up here. You're still in the 3D plane. You got to get off the realm, the grid to get out of here, right? So they're up here. Can this dark individual see this individual? Not at all. So let's say this individual is this, the darkness. And let's say this individual is blasting Christ light. Look at that, I'm bouncing, I'm good. Right? Darkness can't find this individual. This awesome PPF lights, this is free dominion. But the minute we're all up here, right? Let's get this again. Oops. That's a prerequisite to what's happening. The minute this one says, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm just a complete worthless individual. That's so unfair. That's so unjust. They're yelling at me. The Christ light has to leave. because you are the commander-in-chief of the Christ light, and you're saying, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. And now you're back here in the Luciferian matrix. The Christ light does not attract those searching. Those searching attract, you can't attract what you already are. Those searching resurrect within them the Christ light. So I'm going to answer this question. It is Janelle. Since the enemy wants me physically off the earth and destroys my physical body, taking us off the planet, how do I win? Okay, so I'm going to ask the great community. Is the enemy destroying her physically? No, Janelle. It's your belief. When you say that, the enemy wants me off the planet, the Christ light has to go bye-bye. How many times did you all yell at me, my own words coming back to haunt me, because I used to say, oh, I'm sick and tired, I'm sick and tired. Beth Love used to yell at me all the time. Sick and tired. Well, stop being sick and tired. And I was getting sick and I was getting tired. I went from having all this energy to, I'm dragging my ass. The enemy, this is what you must comprehend if you choose. The enemy cannot have any hold on you if you know who you are, if you stand in the authority of who you are. You are the divine Christ light on this plane of existence. It is within you. You don't attract it. It is you. That's like Yeshua and Emmanuel, Jesus, whatever name you would like to call him by. He was proof positive that he was Christ light. It's synonymous with him. It means the same. Jesus and the Christ light are one because he never doubts it. He has reached to the place where he just goes, 24/7 Christ light. That's Yeshua. Does that make sense? He's the only one that we know that we can say, hey, how did he do it? Think about this. Think about this. Could you imagine getting nailed to a cross and still going, forgive them? How many of you would probably like me going, are you kidding me? These effing pieces of poop, they need to, right? How many of us would do that? If somebody was nailing you to a cross, you'd think you'd be you'd think you'd be going, forgive them. They know not what they do. Okay, Sandra says, why did he say, Father, why you had forsaken me? Because he had to come to full man. He had to become full man to show mankind. So he had to let go of all his connections for a moment so that he could show them as a man you can rise above. Sandra writes, does Christ really leave us? Okay, you're making Christ, I don't know what you mean by Christ. If you're calling Yeshua Christ, that's not who he is. Christ is a consciousness. It's an energy. It's a Christ consciousness. It's a field of energy. It's consciousness. It only leaves you when you totally renounce it. It is who you are. So imagine inside of you, in this body, there's a little flicker. It's always this green light. It's not green, but it's the only color I have. This light is in me. It's in me. But the power of this and how bright it shines goes away when I say, no, I'm going to choose that I'm an idiot. I'm going to choose that I'm sick and tired. I'm going to choose that I'm worthless. This cannot be bright because otherwise you are not the king of your dominion. or the queen of your dominion. You are the king of your dominion. That's what kingdom is. So I choose to say I choose to have the experience and say I'm a piece of crap. I'm worthless. When you do that, the Christ light, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And you will start attracting those. I lost my darkness. Where did it go? Well, darkness is, oh, here it is. You will start attracting those who will amplify and sync up with the belief that you're worthless. So you'll get all these people in your life that start treating you like crap. I wouldn't say it goes back to pilot light mode, but it will still be to the level that you blasted it, but now it will be doing what you say. So let's say this was the level of my Christ light. Hum, 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 hum. I get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? On this massive Christ light. This is the massive Christ light. It's as big as I got. Sorry. So this is now my massive Christ light. So when I was at this level, this is a big explanation, and I hope Mary Catherine's on here. When I was at this level, me personally, everything in my life was easy and effortlessly, because what was I attracting? How much power was I putting into unjustness? Not enough to even affect me, right? It's like a pimple on my face. It's just an annoyance. Now I start blasting my Christ light. I'm meditating. Here I come. I can get into my Christ light and really amplify it through nations. Remember when we've done where I sent energy and you could feel it through the webinar? It's Christ light energy. I can really blast it out now. I've been doing it for a long time. So now I'm this big. I'm amplifying. So when I do one of the stupid statements, I'm sick. Now I don't get the little annoyance of sick, the pimple on the face. Now I get the full-fledged darkness coming in, because the Christ light is going to draw what the power I have in me. And if I'm really powerful and I say, I'm sick, whew, I'm on my butt, down and out for the count. But I still have the power of this. I just got to shift back into this, and then this goes away. And this is what happens. So depending, and I'm going to say this the nicest way I know how, depending how messed up you are with your programming and how much Christ light you have, depends on how screwy your life is. People have said to me, and many of our own measures say that, oh my God, when it's like, I have these big scenarios going on because I have big Christ light. And when I walk away from the Christ light, I turn away and I say, Christ light, I want to have people beat me up in my life. Powerful beater uppers are coming, not little beater uppers that just like a pimple on my face annoyance. Big old powerful ones. So this is what we speak of when we say you gotta shutter your face and you have to learn responsibility, self-determination. You determine what you want your life to be. And if you want to be worthlessness and you're massive Christ light, you're going to have massive worthlessness. Because this is just power. It's the power of the authority given to you by the divine creator that you've now accepted. And Deborah says, isn't that the same for the Christ light? The Christ light attracts Christ light. Absolutely. Let's say this is more green. I don't only have, oh wait, I think I have another green. I do think I have another green. I've got lots of Christ light green. Do I have green? Do I have green? I have green? I have green? Voila. I have another green. So now I'm Christ light and I'm holding it. This comes around. If I'm putting it out 5 feet, let's say this is 5 feet, darkness is within 5 feet, knocking on my door, but can't come in until I, boom, blast it back out, boom. Okay? But now I'm just Christ-like. Ah, and then there's somebody over here who's Christ-like. Hey, I know you. Yeah. And this is how you work with people. All these mediumships, all these, what do they call them? Psychics and all that other stuff. Oh, I'm talking to the dead. What are you, a nut? If you're talking to the dead, you're talking to this. I do Christ-like to Christ-like. So let's say, here, we'll use this again. Let's say this is the Christ-light of this one, and this is the Christ-light of this one, and this is me. I'm not going to talk here because what's here? Darkness. Do I want this involved in my communication? Heck no. So I go up here and I chat up here. This Christ light knows everything about this individual. Everything. Everything. Because it's who it is. It's one. It's connected with. So I connect to my Christ light. My Christ light. I have one more. This is going to be tough. There we go. My Christ light connects to that Christ light, and everything's happening at this level. Can darkness get involved in this? Can you say things that are wrong? Can you do things that are wrong against the Christ light? Absolutely not. See how that works? So, Alan writes, but Satan can come as an angel of light and deceive us. So what happens is, and that's absolutely true, because people, this is what you start seeing. Darkness is pretending to be light. However, this is why a lot of people get in trouble, and I'm not bragging in any way, but I make things look easy. And people say, oh, I can do that. She can do it. I can do it. Yeah, you can. But I've got 50, 60 years working on this crap, right? I wonder which one's the different one. Oh, they got different signs on it. Okay. So if you're truly in your Christ light, you'll know the difference. And that's why when people say, well, how do I know I'm there? You're not there. And you should not communicate with others until you know when you're there. Absolutely, Sandra. Do we cut cords? She says, do we cut cords to husbands or wives or whoever that has transitioned? Absolutely. Can darkness tell the full truth? Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you this. I'm a robber. I'm a thief. And I come to your door and I say, oh, you have an absolutely beautiful house. I'll watch it for you, and I promise you I won't take anything. So to the question, can darkness tell the full truth? It's telling the truth you want to hear. If I'm a thief and I say, I promise you, I'm not going to take anything, and as soon as you leave your house, I take everything. Did I tell the truth? But did you hear the truth? Cannot be light. Darkness cannot be light. See, now there's a difference between people who do evil acts than people who are evil. And get that straight. That's very important. If you renounce the satanic beings that are in the ceremonies, and the divine does not want any ceremony. So if you're going to a ceremonial thing, it's darkness. Okay? There's no ceremony. So, once an individual renounces the Christ light and chooses to worship the Luciferian matrix, the Christ light is gone. Because the Christ light can't even hold a little flicker. Let's say this individual says it, cannot even hold a little flicker anymore, because this one says, I hate you, I'm renouncing you, I want you nowhere. This is the king of my dominion now. This, by the law of divinity, must exit. Now this is an evil being, lost forever, unless they come and accept Yeshua again. These are the ones that have to accept Yeshua, or they'll go to the eternal pits. That is an evil being. That's what we call a demonic being. Now, this is the individual full of Christ light everywhere, like, ooh, right? And now starts hanging out with evil people. Never renounced the divine. Never said, I'm worshiping the Luciferian. Negate, 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 ab initio. This individual over here, this is the only explanation only, never said that they were going to worship darkness. I personally worship, I am divine Christ light. I only worship divine Christ light. Just wanted to make sure there's no issues there. So this individual never renounced it, but brought this, and this gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So this was man or woman, mankind, acting in evil, but not evil being. Can you see the difference in that? Does renouncing the Christ light always happen consciously? Yes. And the Lord said, let there be light, and there was light. The vibration, the frequency must be stated. Now, let's take this one more place further. This is why I said, get your popcorn out, because Bob Miller's questions always go really far. Yes. Marilyn says, when you say acting evil, does that mean saying I hate you is being evil? Yes. Marilyn, if I say I hate you, am I being Christ-like? Then what's the other choice? I'm being darkness. But do I really hate you, or am I acting out of pain that something happened to me? That's what usually happens. And the Christ light knows that. That's what Yeshua is clearing from us, all these belief systems that cause pain, that make us lash out, that make us rage. 90 times out of 10, when you're screaming at your husband or you're screaming at your wife and you're going at it like this and you're in such frustration, you're going, I hate you, I want to do what, get the hell out of my life, get out of here. And meantime, the little kid inside of you is going, please don't go away, please don't go away. But you can't say that because you're enraged in the program and you're existing in the Luciferian matrix for that moment and you can't get out. So the little Christ light that's in you going, I love you so much, don't go away, please don't leave. And then the husband or the wife says, fine, and they go out the front door and you're sitting there crying because you really didn't want them to leave and you couldn't stop it. There are a lot of, Val asked what ceremonies are evil. There are a lot of evil ceremonies. One of the big ones is the Masonics, Man of Satan. They do ceremonies where they actually, there's those that take on the Brill clones. There's a lot of them that completely renounce it. Now, here's another thing. Let's go a little further. Remember the concert that they opened the portals. They were calling to the darkness. Remember that concert in Texas? What was the singer's name? I can't even remember. In Houston, correct? Actually, it was outside of Temple, Texas, which is where the new White House is, right? Well, what was the singer's name? Anybody? Travis. Okay. So here's the Luciferian worshiper going on and opening portals of darkness and say, I am darkness, negate, ab initio, I'm divine light. And this individual is saying and projecting the Luciferian matrix. And here's a little boy, a little girl going to the concert and says, wow, this is so cool. And says, wow, I like this. So let's say they're over here. Wow, I like this. So what's happening? Let's say this was the little girl going to the concert, and here's the concert down here. Here's Travis. Wow, this is cool. Wow, 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 wow. Now, I'm going to go one further, and this is the destruction, beyond destruction, of all these social medias. This little girl now follows Travis. She typed in her little thing, I'm a follower of Travis. See what happens there? She's not a follower of the Christ light. She's a follower of darkness. Doesn't matter. Deborah said, didn't we blast that concert with Christ light? It doesn't. We were there, like at the bench with the Christ light around it. So let's say, where's my little darkness guy? Where is that little guy? Where'd he go? See, so much Christ light, darkness disappeared. Here we go. So let's say this is the concert, right? All this darkness is coming out. And then there's kids there and adults going on and off. Some of them are running. You've seen some of them going, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. Some of them were looking for assistance. That whole area was nothing but this. We blasted Christ light. Here it is. So if this one said, I don't want to be here, but can't get out of there because it's squished by 50 million people. Oh, God, help me. Here's the Christ light for him. The individual must ask for assistance from the divine before your Christ light can do anything. That's why I say when we're blasting somebody like Sammy, let's say this is Sammy, and this is all of us. Sammy may have this in them. This may be Sammy's MO right there. I don't know if you can see it. I got to make it higher. You can't see it. Give me 1 second. I need a higher thing. Fanuch came through with everything. You need a taller one. It's going to be really tall now. Okay? So this is, where's my dark one? This is somebody who's hurting. They got their little flicker, but they're 80% darkness and 20% light. Okay? We'll make it like this because this is 100%. Can you see that? That makes sense so far, right? So then we come along and we sit on a park bench next to him, just like this. And we bring massive light. Oops. See? Foreshadowing. Oh. Where'd it go? We bring massive light. We're just blasting it out. This aspect, if the individual chooses, if the individual sits there and says, oh, I wish God would help me. God, please help me. This aspect, this little thing starts to shake because it's at the same frequency as this. And this starts to shake. And what happens is this starts to grow and this starts to decline. And maybe it will get to that row. Maybe it will end up like that. Little bit of darkness, a lot of Christ light. Versus a lot of darkness and a little Christ light. So now it's been converted to this. Now this individual has the power within them. They resurrected it up from the dead because weren't they in the darkness? Darkness is death. They resurrected their Christ light up. They are the life of the Christ light. I am the resurrection and the life of the Christ light. And they can heal themselves. You are not healing them. You're not doing any funky dunky, what do they call that? Reiki and any of that shit. Crossing dominion. You're not doing any of that. You're just being the great light that you are. And what happens when you're this? You're healing yourself. Is this a win-win situation? Are there any cords crossing dominion? Is everybody rising into the Christ light? Absolutely. You're not sending anything to here. I'm going to blast my Christ light. I'm going to send you Christ light. No, we used that word for the longest time because we had to get to the comprehension level where people were able to comprehend this. You're just being the awesomeness that you are. You're being the divine Christ light. That's why Yeshua said, it is not I who heal you, but you. It is your belief. It is your belief because you are now Christ light. And then you get enough Christ light that doesn't even exist. And look, his shirt's even green. He turned green. There was a question I had to get. Laura says, so my daughter going to a Taylor Swift concert and being a fan of Taylor means that she is following darkness. That doesn't completely take her out of her Christ light, does it? Not unless she renounces it. No. All of us have gone to darkness. Every one of us. I'm a firm believer the Antichrist is in all of us. We're Antichrist a lot of times, right? That's just a word. There is a being, the Luciferian being, who is completely against them. But how many times have we been Antichrist? Every time you're in fear. Now, the issue is with, let's say here's a beautiful light going to a concert of darkness. The issue is this has mastered the etheric realm. We remember we mastered it a long time ago, but we've forgotten it. We have no power in the etheric realm anymore. We forgot all our power. So this one can play tricks on this very easily. And this one can start doing things like this after a while. So now your beautiful daughter is taking on more and more darkness because she's singing the words. Who doesn't go to a concert and sing the words, right? Everybody sings along with the words. So if they're singing the words of like the guy that says, kill, 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 and they're saying kill, 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 I don't know what words are, I don't even want to know the words. They start taking it on. They're speaking the language of the Luciferian. What you speak is what you believe. What you believe is what you create. You go to these concerts long enough, you start believing them. Does that make sense, Laura? So Laura also said, if someone asks for Reiki, is it crossing dominion to give them a treatment? Let me ask you this, Laura, and I'm going to ask everybody this question. If someone comes to you and says, I need assistance, and says, can I have a Reiki session? Are you assisting them? Are you? No, you're not. You're disempowering them. You are doing for someone because they can't do for themselves. What does it say in the Bible? Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats forever. You are disempowering them, and you are making yourself the authority over them. Now, if you begin working on an individual doing that stuff, first of all, Reiki is the lowest form of energy there is. But if you begin doing that, then you are corded to them, and it is your responsibility to continue with them. So let me ask you this. Everybody's going, even if it's their choice, even if they ask, let me ask you this. If someone came up to you and asked you to help them commit suicide, would you do it? Why? They're asking you. Why? They're asking you. If someone came up to you and said, would you punch me in the face? Would you do it? Well, if you really hated them, but no, of course not. Why? They asked you. Because it's outside of who you are. So someone comes up to you and says, oh, do energy work on me. Do Reiki. Oh, I don't even want to get going into Reiki. Do Reiki on me. Do whatever. Am I assisting them? If someone comes up to you and says, I'm struggling, I don't know where to turn, I need help, I'm sick, I'm this, you can say, hey, let's just be Christ-like. I don't know how. That's okay. I can hold Christ-like. And eventually, their little Christ-light will start shining. And maybe they'll get this much more Christ-light. You're still full Christ-light, but maybe they'll get this much more. But that's why I said you never help somebody, you assist them. And that's why the Ascended Masters, and that's why all these so-called people who come out and say, well, this is what's going to happen. Bull crap. You cannot predict someone's future for them, all these psychics. That's nonsense and bullshit and lies and this. Because you're the only creator of your world. And tomorrow you can change it. Nobody can predict. I can't predict anybody's life. Can I hook to the Christ light? Absolutely. Can I hook to this individual's Christ light? Absolutely. Can their Christ light tell me what they want to hear and they can't hear it for themselves? Absolutely. Do I do that once for an individual? Sometimes, yes, if I'm told. After that, I teach them how to go direct. You are never to have somebody dependent on you. Now, that doesn't mean, let's stop. Everybody's freaking out a little bit here. I can see it. Well, it's getting late, but this is important for people, I guess. So, yep. So that doesn't mean that you can't get a facial and you can't get a massage. Okay. Here's the difference. Even the Ascended Masters cannot do jack squat for you unless you decree it. It must come from you first. If I say, let's say I have a vision issue. I don't negate, I'm divine perfect vision. Let's say an individual has a vision issue, right? And they say, I am divine perfect vision. And they call up their friends. Amplify, intensify my decree because you created it. You're just asking for extra juice. Now you're assisting that individual. You are not doing for them. There's the difference. You are only assisting them in what they desire. You are not in their field messing with their energy or anything else. So they put out this decree. Here's the decree. And it looks like this. There's your sine wave. Let's say that's what it is. This is perfect. Oh, this is perfect eyesight. Excuse me, not energy. Eyes. Perfect eyes, okay? Perfect eyesight. So that's the frequency. I am divine perfect eyes. Now, I come along, amplify, intensify it. It now does this. It gets higher and I can't go that high because the words are there, and it gets faster. So it can go further out and create. But who started this? The one who said, I am divine perfect vision. We just sat next to him and amplified, intensified, and magnified it to assist in bringing their decree into creation. We didn't create it for them. When you do Reiki and all that other stuff, you're creating in their field. You are courting yourself like you wouldn't believe. There's the difference. Sam says, so if I have a bit, oh wait, that's not a question. There's somebody, Marilyn. So if I ask for a lymphatic massage, that is not helpful. If you say, it depends who you go to. If someone is doing it for you, no. You're giving up your power. If you say, my lymphatic system is divine perfection. Now, if you're just going to have an experience of a massage or something, you just say, I just want to have an experience, but I hold my divine Christ light and I don't accept anything. That's different. That's why Saint Germain said, if we all kept our mouths shut, we would have ascended by now. Because everything you do in this world, they have you creating. I'm sick and tired. I created that. I need a massage. I'm creating that. We need to send Christ light to XYZ. Yeah? Why? Did they ask? No. Shut your face. Keep your Christ light where it belongs, in the holster. Is a frequency is running, being played, good or bad? Does our body accept or reject it? Only if you accept it. Okay, so if I'm Christ light and this frequency is all around me, it's still all around me, it can't touch me. That's why I always play that song. That's my entrance song all the time. Nah, 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 nah. Can't touch this. You can't touch this. Except when this one gets perturbed and goes from this to this. Now this has more power and comes on in. And now I'm miserable. This frequency, if a frequency is running, being played a little bit, okay, that's it. And so I have a business, and the only way to advertise is using social media and asking for followers. Am I growing my darkness? I sense I know the answer. Okay, Sam, so answer the answer. Answer the answer. Don't ask me if you know the answer. What's your answer? So Christine writes, like, stop walking around telling my dog something. That's not crossing dominion. My dog is an elemental, and I have the authority over him. Now, I'm going to say something that bothers me, and I don't know. You've quite a few of you said it too. What word will you use if someone asks for prayers? Prayers is prayers. I know it's in the Bible, but I don't believe it meant the same thing back then. Oh, I don't believe it meant the same thing in the olden days. Because Jesus said, when they say, Jesus, pray for me, it's not I who heal for you, but you who heal yourself. So I don't believe prayer meant what it meant back then. So when someone asks me for prayers, I get that a lot. My answer is, I will always shine my Christ light for whatever you want for your greatest and highest good. Meaning, I will shine my Christ light and you choose what you want it for. Not my job. You can't even get your own life in order. You're going to start fixing everybody else's? Now, here's another thing going along with energy work. If someone does energy work on you and they're exhausted after, you hear this all the time, I can only do 2 or 3 a day. Run for the hills as fast as you can. They're not using the Christ light. How many of you, they're using darkness? They're sucking down their own energy with all their programs, and they're giving you your programs. That's why you don't want anybody in your field, because you have enough of your own crap. You don't need to take on somebody else's, because the minute you take on somebody else's, you got to clear theirs too. See, this is a great plan by the Luciferian matrix to keep us from forgetting who we are. But I'll ask all of you who've gone to the 8 and 10 day retreat, did I ever get tired? Did I ever get slowed down? I run at 5 times the speed that I do. And I don't even sleep. For 8 to 10 days, I go without sleep. Because it's pure Christ light I'm in. And only once in a while, when someone comes up and keeps doing this to me, and the program that I had is, only once in a while I will drop down from this to this, and then I'll go, oh, I'm tired. And that doesn't happen often, because I set the room, I set the whole intention of everything to remain in the Christ light before anybody. That's why I get so annoyed at you people when I'm setting up the room and you walk in. Get your damn energy out of my room. There's a lot that goes on before that. So, does all of this make sense? I told you all to get popcorn. Bob's questions go on forever. Laura, makes sense? Laura had a few questions. Laura, I saw some questions. They went by so fast I couldn't catch them. So did I answer all your questions? I think 2 of them. Oh, there he is. I know she had another question. If 2 people meditate together and one is taking the lead in a psychic healing, for the other, having been asked to do so, is that courting? That's worse than courting. I'll tell you why. I feel energized after leading someone else in the psychic healing. All right. I just used Reiki as an example because you brought it up. Yeah, I've noticed healing in myself from psychic meditations, healing with others. I've seen others positive changes, psychic healing and aura healings I have done with others. Okay. First of all, what's the word psychic mean? Laura? I'm going to read it to you. No. Apparently, you don't have a dictionary. Let me read you what the definition of psychic is. Relating to or denoting faculties or phenomena that are apparently inexplicable by natural law, especially involving telepathy or clairvoyance, psychic powers. Relating to the soul or mind. He dulled his psychic pain with jinn. A person considered or claiming to have psychic powers, a medium. Now, I'm going to tell you one last story. When I owned my healing center, my gym in New York, when I owned that, there was a gentleman, a famous gentleman. Don't ask me his name because I forgot it. He was Jewish and he was internationally known, used to do all kinds of healings. He had books and everything. And he was really well known that he could lay his hands on and heal broken bones. Now, I'm in the aerobic room cleaning up. I had somebody at the front desk. I had my back to the front desk. I'm in the aerobic room cleaning up, putting away stuff. Just taught a class. My back to the doorway, every part of my being stood on end. What the freak? And I turn around, and this individual was standing with so much darkness. It was incredible. I said, out. Get out now. I'm yelling from my aerobic room to my front desk, telling them to throw him out. Oh, but I'm here. I need to get out. Get him out now. His name was Jordan. I remember that. His name was Jordan. And we had a conversation afterwards. He's a mess. He's sick. He's dying. He's a mess. He came for me for assistance. And he says this to me. And I'm quoting his words, not my words. He said, sure, when I do energy healing, I work with a whole entourage. I have 5 or 6 reptilians standing with me. The reptilian, the dark energy, the Luciferian energy, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call this, darkness, they're all, they worship the Luciferian energy. They don't care about the physical body. They will heal your physical body like this. But what they do is this. Broken arm. They heal it. They will heal your physical broken arm right here, but they will implant all this shit. And they will continue because now you have a cord directly to them. And they will continue to draw in your more crap. Oh, but your arm's healed. The kid was almost dead, and he had a little girl who was 4 years old, and it was the little girl that said to her daddy, Jordan, Daddy, you got to get all those evil things away from you. I did not want to take on the responsibility of doing this. I sent him to somebody who I knew could. That's not what once you take on someone like this, it becomes your responsibility. I don't want the responsibility of hanging around with all this darkness. So, when you're sitting there, broken arm, there's the broken arm, right? Wouldn't it behoove, do this, not entering, this is the individual's field, let's do this, okay? Wouldn't it behoove you to just vibrate Christ-like? And in doing this, if they choose, only if they choose, remember, they're the king or the queen of their dominion, kingdom and queendom, and this starts to happen. Do you think the Christ-like can heal this better than this? That's the big thing. People don't get it. And the whole psychic world, people used to call me psychic because I said, don't you dare. I am not a psychic. I am one with my Christ light. The Christ light is in the quantum field. The artificial interface is also in the quantum field, which means the Luciferian matrix is in the quantum field because it connects to everything. But stay in your Christ light. When you talk to Yeshua, God, I'd be careful with using the word God and get answers that is psychic. That's not psychic at all. So in the Bible, it says, say this one time a day, which is the Our Father. Deliver us from evil. Is that psychic? No. That's you claiming your dominion. You're not claiming your dominion this way. Psychic information does not come from God. Oh, yes, it does. Which God? It comes from the God that believes he's a Luciferian God. Why would Christ light belittle itself and call it psychic? I read you the definition. Inexplicable by natural laws. What is the divine creator? The highest law in the land is natural laws. So it's inexplicable by natural laws. It's telling you in the definition that it's satanic. It's not under natural laws, which is God's law, the divine creator's law. It tells you right there. It's all part of the new age that the Luciferian energy came up with to destroy people who were stepping into their Christ light. New age, new world order. I don't care about the world. I care about my divinity. I care about the Christ consciousness. I care about my dominion. That's the difference. It says it right there. Start knowing your dictionary. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what you say that links you to the Luciferian matrix. You cannot teach somebody, I want to get this on and then we're done. Somebody asked me about, well, how does that affect teaching? You cannot teach anybody anything. I can't teach you anything. You can only teach yourself. All I do is I present it. If you like it, fine. If it resonates with you, fine. Then you start utilizing it for yourself. You start teaching yourself. If you don't like it, you hang up, you run away, have a nice life. Nobody can teach you anything. Teaching is equivalent to our children as brainwashing. It's repetition over and over, and you make them learn it, and you grade them on you. Do you think Yeshua would grade anybody on how much the Christ light they have? Never. Is it a matter of definition of terms? No, it's not a matter of definition of terms. It's a matter of belief. Psychic belief is part of the new age, the new world order. If you communicate with Yeshua, it's no different than communicating with me or communicating with Val or communicating with anybody else. It's a communicate. You're just having a conversation. It's that simple. Anything complicated is a Luciferian. Be careful of the word God is all I'm telling you, because Satan's a god. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me, proving that there are millions of gods on this earth. We're all gods. So when you use the word God, how are you qualifying that? If you don't qualify it, since the Luciferian matrix runs the earth plane right now, which is what we have done when we allowed it to happen, when we gave Satan the power, which we have, the Luciferian matrix controls the earth plane. So when you say God, you're calling to that one, unless you qualify it. The one, I use divine creator. I don't want it to ever be confused. If we teach children, does it take us out of our Christ light if we work at a school? Yeah, if you're teaching children lies, absolutely. Absolutely. And what is the very last, I'm going to end with this because we're way over, but I know everybody has tons of questions. I'm going to end with this very last statement. It is the last line, and it has been my greatest fear, and I have let it go, but it was for the longest time. That's why I didn't come out in public. Because of this last line. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book, of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Even so, come Lord Yeshua, Jesus. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. If you teach, if you brainwash, if you present outside of this book, you're taken out of the book. Do you know how scary that was for me? Yeshua, I don't want to be separate from this at all, ever. As a little kid, I was always part. I don't want to be separated from. Once I first read this, I was like, are you kidding me? What if I say something wrong? I don't want to be condemned to the Luciferian matrix. So, every action, every deed, every word I speak, when I do these things, they're not mine. They come at a high speed. You can tell how fast. You never hear me going, You never hear that. That's for people who are using their brain. It rolls out at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm constantly trying to slow it down. So if you're teaching outside of this, make your own decisions. It's the last 3 verses of the Bible. I do not agree. I taught special education for 34 years. I worked severely impaired. Beth, but you were working on help assisting them in just functioning. Were you not? You didn't teach them, you showed them. So, negate what you just said. There's a difference. When someone teaches the curriculum put forth by the Luciferian matrix, they're brainwashing the kids. Now, doesn't mean you can't do it. You could present and you could put the Christ-like twist on it. You may not have a job for long, but you can. It's your choice. It's all your choice. And here's the kicker. I really hate to say this to everybody. As you wake up, you're more responsible. Like, if you were just teaching in school and you knew nothing of this, you didn't do anything, against the Christ light, you didn't know any better. But now that you know, ignorance is bliss sometimes. So, there are a lot of teachers who quit, teachers we call them. There are a lot of people who quit teaching when they change the curriculum. You can't even mention the Bible in school anymore. Why not? Why? What do we used to say? I pledge my allegiance, not good, but I pledge allegiance to the flag. I'm not pledging my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you're still pledging your allegiance to the republic and to the flag. You're not pledging your allegiance to the divine creator. All this makes sense to everybody. And again, you have the right to choose. You are the power, you are the authority given to you by the one true divine creator to do with whatever you want. You want an experience of crap? Knock your socks off. Whatever you choose. But know this, just like me, the roofers are bullying me. They're pushing me around and I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I'm here where there's no more roofers because of the hurricane. So I either got to bite my tongue, shut up, or they walk away and I can look up to the sky through my house with my stuff in it. What is that doing for me? Push, 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 push. That's a lesson that's pure hell. And I mean that because that's all darkness that I took on. Okay, bite my tongue, turn the other cheek, keep on going. So, as much as I want to, the roofers, right? What do I really have to do? Wow, why is that bringing all this up in me? And when you're angry, do you want to do that? No, that's the last thing you want to do. You just want to hit them over the head with their own roof. Right? You don't want to do that. Let's be real. We're living in a Luciferian matrix. We want to do evil things sometimes. Like, oh, I want to beat that man up. I'm not going to pay him the way he's treating me. But what did I end up doing? After 2 days of complete torture that I gave myself, what did I do? I finally said, you know what? Yeshua, I'm not mastering this one. I'm a little dense when it comes to this. Take care of it. I played Pontius Pilate. I'm washing my hands clean of all of this. I can't do it now. You take care of it. They fixed everything that I was bitching at. I was so upset. I called people. I was really upset. And they kept saying, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Don't you hate it when you're really upset and your best friend says, it's all going to work out? You want to start hitting them, right? You don't want to hear that. If you're truthful, you don't. You're in the Luciferian energy. You want it to continue and keep creating crap. Until finally, you got to say, what the heck? I don't want to learn any lessons on this shit. I don't want anything to do with this, Yeshua. Take care of it. Get done the way I desire it. Make it right. You're taking care of all of it. I'm not mastering that situation yet. I've got a lot of my own healing to do. And it's almost done. It's taken a little longer than I would but that's a lesson in patience. And that's a lesson in knowing everything is being done in divine timing, and little 3D pea brain is not going to control the time. So you see, we do this, all of us. I can only speak about me because it's crossing dominion to speak about anybody else unless I have their permission. But, and I hear people all the time go, oh, I'm sick and tired of hearing your life. I'm giving you examples. I can't give you an example from anybody else's life. I can't do any more questions. Ugh, Helen, I don't even know what edified means. I don't know what edified means, so I can't answer that question. From my husband, quoting the Bible, the Holy Spirit teaches all truth. The Holy Spirit doesn't teach truth. The Holy Spirit is truth. And the Holy Spirit, when it comes into you, you become divine truth. So the speaker and receiver never understands, comprehends, and is truth. You become truth by the Christ light. I don't know what edified means. Oh, then both are fair. Is this true? I still don't know what, that doesn't make sense. Because the Christ light is divine, it's a threefold flame. It's divine love, divine truth, and divine power. You are, when you be divine love and you stand in divine truth, only then can you wield divine power. So when the Holy Spirit, the Christ light, whatever you'd like to call it, comes into you, you are divine truth. You know the truth. There are so many people that said they've been saved, they were on the path of darkness, and then they saw the light and they saw the truth because they became truth. You cannot be truth if you are not truth. If I'm that robber that we used 5 minutes ago and I said, oh, I'm not going to steal anything in your house, how can I speak divine truth? I can't, because I'm a robber and I'm going to rob the house. So what I spoke wasn't truth. So when you accept the Christ light, you're accepting that you are divine love, you are divine truth, and you are divine power. You're one with the Christ consciousness. The consciousness of the Christ light is not the consciousness of the 3DP. It is the consciousness of the divine creator of all that is and all that will ever be. Okay, so Sam typed what edified means. He looked it up for me. Path particle, instruct or improve someone morally or intellectually. Isn't that crossing dominion? I can't improve somebody morally. I can't improve somebody intellectually. I'm crossing dominion if I do that. Only they can improve themselves. So edified's not a good word. Oh, Helen also wrote it. It's not a word I would use. Never, ever, ever let anybody shortchange your Christ light. Never. Be the most expansiveness you could ever be. And I'll tell you this, all the lies, all the whole matrix thing of everything that's so untrue, all of that would not have been done to capture you and enslave you if you weren't powerful. If you are nothing, they wouldn't care about you. Darkness would want nothing to do with you. They want the power and the authority given to you, given to mankind and womankind by our divine creator. They don't have it. They want it. So stop feeding the Luciferian matrix. Stand in the Christ light. Remember the 3 green. Oh, look, it's a Trinity. The 3 green Christ lights. Because it's the only one I have 3 of. Look at that. That works so well. Hi, I'm Leana from PowerPassionFreedom.com. If you liked what you heard, why don't you come and join us on Sundays? We do a whole free question and answer period followed by a meditation. Bring all your questions. All you have to do is go to PowerPassionFreedom.com to register for Sunday. Oh, and don't forget to like us and subscribe to us below because we're always adding new meditations and content and you don't want to miss out on it. I'll see you Sunday.